Welcome to Bunny's Designs. This is a live stream, live peoples, and I'm working in the Johanna's Christmas because I really want to finish this. Oopsie, sorry. I really want to finish this book, and although it's into January, I really want to crack on with it. So, at the moment, I can't use a lot of materials, but I can use my pastels, my pastel pencils. So I'm going to have a go at doing some really vibrant, bright colours to see if I can kind of get this book finished. Oh, hi, Bhagwan. Welcome to Bunny's Designs. Did I kind of go asleep for a minute? Sorry. I kind of went a bit, woohoo. Again, I can't do thingy ones, but I wanted to do some, and again, you see, I've gone over the line there. So I just want to kind of, I'll zoom in. I wanted to kind of practice to do something a bit brighter and a bit different. And of course, you could do that in the Christmas book. And as I say, the other two books I have actually put away. So I won't be using those till next year. But I want to get this one finished. And no, that's definitely not in focus. So I've put a little cherry. Oh, goodness sake! Everything's sliding off this silly desk. I've put. I've just gone over the line there, but because I haven't blended it, I can use my little electric eraser and just take that off. And it has actually done it. You've got to be a bit careful. And so, oops, again, I've just done a really silly thing. It does not want to be red, but I can get away with that. I'm going to put a bit of green in the middle. And then I did pick out an olive green. So it's going to be one of the. Is it? Let's kind of. Whoops. Now this is a very small space, so this blender is going to have to behave itself. And I'm going to try and not get in the way, so you can tease that to there. And I've still got green on there, so I'm just going to move that up. And I don't know if you can see all that green just steadily moving up, but getting paler. Oops. Now you can do it a lot neater than I can because my silly thumb will not hold it properly, but that's quite of a nice. And then I'm going to use this tiny one to blend the berries because it is a small space. And then there's a tiny bit of mistake there that I'm hoping I can get rid of. And if I really wanted, I can put some highlights. Onto there with very little help. With very little struggling. Again, a little tiny bit there. Now these are kind of small spaces, these, so we probably have to resort to this little torsion paper wrap because these are tiny spaces now, and just kind of tease that across. And that's going to be quite tiny, that, but that's okay. What else have we got? We need a red bow. So I'm going to do a cad red because I think that's the next brightest one. So we can get our cad red, which is not there. Oopsie, there's trouble now because they're not settling. Cadmium red's quite a nice bright red. So we need this bow here. I'm actually going to set them at the same time, so I'm going to use a damp brush and just very carefully stroke the smallest amount of a damp brush over here to fix this. So you need a small space for that, and then the cherries will pop once you've done that. So that's quite nice. So the cadmium red is the bow. So I do bows by the same with the waterworks, exactly the same. I normally fill all that in, and then I fill kind of that in. And then we have our blender, which has got green on. And tease that round there. So it's very much like watercolouring, but you're kind of just using a blender. But there's a lot more pigment on here. And you can erase it if you get it wrong, so I like that as well. So there's a tiny bit on the other side there that I don't like. Hi Bookworm, anybody else that's popped in that I've missed? Just going to take that off. And that's the beauty of this. And that's cadmium red. So again, you just want to blend it. So you've got the highlight on the top. And then a quick and that's given you that. I was going to do something, I don't know what it was. I'll put it back over there. You're just completely coating it in one very, very small coating of water, and you can see, and if you're not careful, you can push your colour around, especially the cad red, which is a very strong red. But we don't actually want to do that. I just want to give that a little bit of a dampness. And where I did it here, that's all set now, so that's now so apologies if you've just arrived and seen Christmas things. But I did have a request and I said I was going to do it, but I've been unable to do a lot of things, so I thought I'd have a bit of a play and get it over with, kind of thing. because it's kind of not really Christmas. And I'm just going to use this one here as well. So I've kept this one for holly. And there's had to be some more holly somewhere. Is that all the holly? Yep, that's all the holly. So I could put those the two away now. It has, yes. It's very good, and it's a lot less effort. So I was quite impressed with that. And I found out by accident, trying to play with some bright colours. So the naughty Amazon gremlin bought these pastel pencils. So if it's going to be a very small space, I'm just going to use one of these little pencils here. I can use it for a minute or so. And you're just pushing the colour around basically. Now you can actually use it with a water brush if you want. Not a water brush. You can use it with a damp brush if you want. There's two ways to use this. You can. I found the best way is to blend it with a blending tool, and then very quickly go over it with a brush, a very, very light, damp, almost dry brush, and that will set it like a watercolor, and it will make it a watercolor, because when these are wet they become a watercolor. The pigment in them is so vibrant it becomes a watercolor. But if you wanted to, you could put two colours on, and then you could blend the way we normally do with the pencils. I've started this particular one this way, but I'll show you on another page in a minute that you can do it exactly the same way. So all these pencils, in all these 308 pencils I've got in my little Derwent carry bag, I can scratch onto any surface I want as long as it'll absorb watercolour, and then I can activate it with a damp brush. And I love that. I love that. Or I can use these pastels. This is a bit difficult for me, but because I can't use this silly thumb, and these are a bit small spaced, but anyhow, I'll be all right. And then what I do is I've got my, and I keep spilling the water, but it doesn't really matter, I don't think. I've got my baby wipe, my little tray here of water, and I just twist it exactly the same way, and then I stroke. I'm not blending, I'm stroking very carefully without going over the lines. I'm stroking. Now the red one we might have to do separately because it's you've got some red here now, see, because it's red. But what that's allowing me to do it's allowing me to fix these pastels without any fixatives. Technically it's become a watercolour and it's dried on the page and it's not going to move. So that pastel I did earlier, and that's cadmium red, and that's not moving. These aren't going to move either because I've just gone over the top of them with a damp brush and fixed them. And again, I like the fact that I can fix them with a damp brush. And I'm not blending. I could blend instead of using a blender. I could blend with a damp brush, or I can blend with a blender and then I can just stroke here at the top. And you've got to be careful you're not moving the colour around too much. You just want to stroke all over the top. And that has given you a set pastel. So you don't need fixatives or anything. And if you use the eraser first to get the highlights, you can get some nice highlights. I would have blended with this. I would have blended with this one. You see the difference of blending with that and then blending with this little soft is so much different. So different than blending with that hard. And then the damp brush, I think I've done the cherries. So it's a little bit easier to blend and get these nice effects than it is with the Derwent watercolours and the pencils. Only because you've got to hold the Derwent pencils and Derwent pencils and watercolour pencils like a pencil and control it. And this is the one thing that my thumb doesn't like me to do. So I can stroke with this, and then I can blend with this, and then I can stroke with this, and none of it requires my thumb. And that's quite nice. It's a little bit difficult because these are really tiny spaces. So I probably would have done it not being a tiny space. I could actually show you, I think. I'll show you with the brush, purely because it's such a small space. So you can blend, colour blend and then watercolour, or you can use a damp brush and you can blend with a damp brush. And again, once this is dry, it becomes a watercolour. And it's fast. It's not fast as in if you didn't wet it again it wouldn't run. It's fast as in you don't need fixative. You can run your fingers over it and it's not going to go anywhere. Whereas you've taken a pastel colour and you've made it into a watercolour. And I love that effect. So you can do it like this. I've actually gone over, but I'll see if I can erase it. I just can't control my thumb at the moment, so this is why I can't do any other colouring. As much as I love my Derwent ink tints and watercolours, I can't use them. I can't use them. Did I miss that one? So let's have a look, see if we can actually erase that little bit that I've done wrong. You can, it's a bit difficult, but you can. So you could put your highlights back on here, look. You could put some highlights. And you would use this eraser for charcoal drawings as well to get some gorgeous highlights. And then if you wanted to, you can put a highlight on each one. Because you've not used too much water, you see. And then you've got to that's pastel and it's completely set, which I love. Love that. I think that's quite good. I do hope the light's not so bad here because it's gone dark all of a sudden, and when it goes dark all the light just changes over instantly. So we've got another bow there, so I'm quite into these red bows, especially the cadmium red ones. So again, a bit inside, and then I don't know where that would be, and then we kind of got this bit going here, this bit, and I forgot this bit here, look. So you can either blend, just make sure I get rid of all the green off here, so we can blend the red in, so that's quite a nice one. Or if you want to kind of really kind of break it up a bit. And then this one here, I forgot to do the, so you always go short of the line with the pastel, and then you kind of pull it about a bit. So you've got the best of both worlds here. You've got your pastel, and then you can blend it. And then you can take a damp brush and just stroke that down. You don't really want to rub. You've got to do it in one motion, because I think I've already done this one actually. Do it again. It's difficult to tell where you've been really, but I know I haven't been here. But you don't want to rub too much because you don't want to move. You've got your lovely blend, you've got your highlight, you're just setting this instead of rubbing or spraying fixative. So you can go all the way around here very carefully, and you will pick up a fair amount of red. And I've missed two bits of that, look now. So we need some red under there and red there. I'm going to mix that bit in, it's easier. And what you could do is you could blend with your brush if you wanted to. Whoopsie, sorry about that, bark alert. Bark alert. And that should be, oh, there's some more bows up here. If anybody's got any questions, pop them in caps. What else have we got? I think we're going to have those red ones up there as well. Oh, we could do purple and yellow, couldn't we? So we could, oh, we could do a tomato colour. This is quite nice, this tomato colour actually. So you can either do this with it, and it's almost like a pure watercolour because it's pure pigment. Remember what I said the other day about the pigment? So if you want to get a cool watercolour effect, you can do. And then this is set, you don't have to do it again, then this is it, once you just do that. So of course, it's quite nice with this, but when you think of all those vibrant colours that are in the set, it's quite nice. Now by the time we've got right round, I do actually want to turn this so it's a bit easier for me. This is a bit more difficult because I'm having to control the brush, whereas with the blender it's a bit easier. Yeah, I'm having a spot up. This is why I can't do the watercolouring, because I just can't control the brush. It's just too much. So if we take that down there and that down there, it should be just enough colour to give a pale highlight there. So that's one way of doing it. But as I say, that's too much for me, unfortunately. So the other way to do it, and I'll just put these colours back. I've left those greens, but I think we've got enough with those, haven't we? So I can put those back now. So I wanted it. I like the dioxazine purple. That's quite a nice one. So again, you can start here. And you don't want to be up to the line because you've got to blend. So you've got to be away from the actual end. Just make sure that you've got rid of all that red, otherwise it will go where you don't want it. I always blow everything else away, and then you can, you see, this is okay because this does it on its own. You're just stroking this. So this is an easier way of working, but you do things twice. So you're taking that, and this is a proper blending tool, so you get, I would think it just blends it a bit better. Because I'm not used to blending, because I've never been able to blend. So I'm actually quite enjoying myself. So you can take that purple. Almost to nothing. And just push it about. Oh, apologies, my thumb's in the way, sorry. But you're just pushing it around. And you want it even, so push it in an even direction. Oh no, no, don't tell me that. Oh dear, LB. Little bookworm says, do you want a Basford to release a new book in October called Inky and the Butterfly? Don't want to know. I'm going to put a bit more purple in here. You see, I've blended it and I can add to it. That's the beauty of not adding the water. It's like a traditional pastel, this. Well, it is a traditional pastel. You can add to it, do whatever you want to it. And then when you've finished, you just put a layer of water over it. And I say, I really like that. There we go. What else can we do next? We've got a parcel behind it, so we could have another a pink one. And that's all the colour that you need. And then I do have a couple of other little soft tools, but they are just a bit too bendy for me. But if I was in a small space, it would be fine. Did you mean I sounded very animated? Or the book? And I'm going to have a purpley pink up here, I think. So again, all you do is scratch a little bit of colour in. And that's your blending done. Sorry, that's your colouring done. So you just push this around a bit. And I apologise if I offend anybody, but I had a request for a Christmas Johanna's book, so I wanted to finish it. So I will be trying to get a video out once a week to try and get this finished. Oh, thank you. I've had about half an hour's sleep last night, so I'm having a kind of a strange day, shall we say. So hopefully that's in focus and everybody can see. And again, we've got the little robin, so we've got to do the we've got to put the little red raspberry chest on the robin, and a kind of a light brown. So even though this is pastel pencil, I love the fact I can put my hand on it and I'm not going to smudge anything. That's possibly a little bit too big for the bed. The easiest thing to do would be to take my little damp rigger and tease that colour around. There we go, done now. And he is actually set, so I don't need to set him. I do need to set the purple. I don't think this is set, is it? I thought I'd set that, but I don't. Oh, I put more purple on, didn't I? Yes, to darken it. So again, I've got to set the purple because I haven't set the purple before. So again, just a damp brush, tease over there. You can normally see where it's going roughly. And if you've got a tiny bit missing, you can kind of do a bit of minor surgery on it if you need to. You've just got to remember not to get too wet. So big areas, got to think quick flick. And try to remember not to go over things twice because you make it a bit damp. Oh, sorry, somebody's trying to get comfortable. So that one's now set. Yeah, Suzanne had a bad night as well. It seemed to be one or two people had bad nights last night. I wonder if it was the weather. So when that, I'll give that a few minutes to dry, and then I'll show that how dry it is. I'm going to try not to buy any more colour books. I was going to try and do my own, but I'm not quite sure what happened. I don't think the person who was going to give me the photographs is actually doing that now. How are we doing for time? Oh, it's not so bad time-wise. Bear with me 2 seconds, just see if I've got... Oh no, I thought, oh bless him. Oh, bless him. Oh, he did. It's still on. Oh, that's good. Yes, it's me. I got my wires crossed. I put SB instead of Selby because I've had about 4 nights. Right. Oh, good. That would be good. Oh, that would be good. Right. So that means that hopefully I can draw on the tablet the close-up of the windows of Selby Abbey, and then I can put them on my website and then our blog or whatever you call it, and then people can download it and just colour it in. And I'm trying to do a whole window with the story with each window, if that makes sense, because there's hundreds of panels in some of them. So if I show now, that's completely set. That is just as good as the others. So I quite like that because you've got that lovely soft pastel effect, and yet it's now a watercolour, and it's, you don't have to use any fixative. So anything that you don't have to use any fixative is good. Yes, Suzanne, I thought there was as well, but as I say, not quite with it today. Yes, I thought there was somebody else. I'm sure there were 3 of us that didn't get any sleep. So apologies to the other person who is in the same boat as us. So there's a bow and some swirls there, so I think I might do a blue bow. And again, I love the fact that this is so quick. I found something else that's quick, so anything that's quick like this is wonderful. And I do like this blending tool because you don't have to use your thumb, and I'm trying to keep it out of the way because normally you would do this. So you can just push it along, and as you're pushing it backwards, oh, there could be a bark alert because there was a large lorry just appeared. As you push it backwards and forwards, the colour just decides to just smush about. I don't even think you could call it blending really. What you're doing is you're staining the page, because there's no tooth to this. So basically, you know, that's why you can erase it with an electric eraser, because there's nothing holding it onto this. It's just kind of clinging on for dear life. It's only when you do the smudgy bit that you're kind of pushing it in and making a stain, and then if you activate the stain with water, it fixes it onto the paper like a watercolor. Thank you for that. Were you saying as well? That's kind. And basically that's what's happening. So I can completely erase all that, even though, I'll show you, even though I blended it. I actually quite like that blend, but you can put a highlight. You can put a highlight on it. And then you can take it right back. Now, the one thing you can't do is probably get rid of it altogether. Because it's dark, it's a blue. But if you wanted to make that a different colour, you've just about got away with it. It's like a very faint stain left. And so you can kind of go back in there, and as long as you haven't blended it. Oh, but sorry, I had blended it, hadn't I? Yeah. If you blended it, you've got the stain there. If you hadn't blended it, so if I do this one over here, watch it not work now, but if I do this one here and think, oh, I didn't want that blue one. Whoops. I didn't want that blue one. That's a bit of a waste of paper. I didn't want that blue in there because I've got that one there. What you can do, is completely get rid of it. I think again there's the tiniest bit, but I did put a lot of blue on it and I squished down a bit. But you've got rid of most of that. So blend that into there. So again, I love that, you know, make a pig's ear of it and it's fine, you can get out of it. So that's got to be quite good. Because sometimes I've done that and I think, oh, I've got that in the wrong place. Now I've got quite a nice edge on there. Now it's a dead straight edge, so that means I can get some nice highlights. But it also means I can also get a nice highlight, a precise highlight as well. I mean, when you've finished, you can go around everything, giving everything a highlight if you wanted. Depending on it. So you can do this, and I like that. I love the fact you can just do that. And you can bring back your highlight. And you can go back in with your dark as well. I can't remember which orange it was. So the possibilities, I think it was tomato, wasn't it? The possibilities, this teaches you then how to use these awesome products. The only thing you've got to remember is you've got to go over that with a little bit more water, very carefully. Just a bit. Only where you put the extra. Just to set it. Oh, thank you, Kinga. It does, doesn't it? I was used to be impressed with the watercolours, the Derwent watercolour pencils working like this, and then I worked with the ink 10s, and now to find I can actually, through disability, not being able to actually hold anything with this thumb, it's looking like it's never actually going to get better, in which case I thought I could never colour, but I can, because you're just scratching a little tiny bit off here. The pencils, you've got to be a little bit kind of put down like a pencil. This one, you just scratch the top of the surface and the colour comes off, because the binding in here is a lot less than on a pencil to make it a watercolour. And so that binding is just holding this chalky substance, pure pigment, together. So when it touches anything, it wants to stay. It's just they are not traditionally used in a colour book, a flat surface. They are designed for a tooth, kind of a rough paper. Yeah, I'll finish them. I'm going to finish them more. Having said that, this is fairly quick. What else did I do today? Can't think what I've done today. Oh, I started this one. And I have to say, I love this. This has kind of saved my bacon today, because I was getting a little bit cross with myself. And I started this a couple of days ago, I think Monday, thinking, how on earth am I ever going to do these pages? And then I thought I'd use the pastels. And I love them. I really love working with them. They're so easy. Now, there is about 4 or 5 hours on here, because each individual brick has got, I think, 12 little scratches of colour. But all you do is you take out the colours you need, and I had it. And the good thing about the Harry Potter books is you have a reference. So I picked out 12 colours, and I lined them all up from light to dark, and then I just scratched the tiniest little bit in each one. Every colour I picked up, I scratched into every little brick. Then I picked the next one up and I scratched, and by the time I'd finished, I'd got almost every brick completely covered with a tiny amount of colour. And then I just blew, and then I just blended each individual little brick, and it worked out kind of okay. So you've got a nice effect. I think the lighting's a bit pants. Is that possibly better? And then today I spent an hour doing this one, doing the back. I'd be saying 2 hours doing the backgrounds and the trees. But they do need doing again. I just wanted to see, this one's a bit more detail, but you need to put the background in before you can put the finishing touches. So I've set this won't run now because I've watercoloured this. I put a damp water brush over it. But this will all run because I haven't. I've just blended it with my blending tool. Same with the background, it's just blended, nothing's set. So if I wanted, I could rub it all out and start again if I wanted. So I have to say, these pastel pencils are quite good. Quite good. They are really good at making you be more creative, if that's the right word. You know, you can really get some good detail and some good mixes to make these nice proper. Most of this is actually what the door isn't. I don't know if the door is the door. I think it is. I think I've done this bit and that bit. Everything else is unwatered, shall we say? So it's unfixed. And so I really like those colours because I thought this book would be a different book to do. So really liked that idea. And that's kind of, I've been doing that today, so that's kind of lent itself to, I think we did Imagimorphia. I started one Imagimorphia today as well. So although I can't go back and touch the other ones that I've started in pencils, this is the one we started today in Imagimorphia. Didn't get very much done, actually, I have to say. I don't know why. Maybe I had a nap. Again, love the real pale colours. So I've got this one in Imagimorphia, and then I have two in pastels. I started this one, but this one's fixed. Again, about an hour, I think, with this one. So put some colour down, blended it, and then touched it with a water brush, with a damp brush. And that one's fixed. The other two I have in here aren't fixed. That's not fixed. That's just pastel blended. So I've got to get my act together. So I can still just about work with the pastels. So that's quite nice. No, not going to stay there. But I wanted to see just how quick I could get this finished. So that was blue. I do like that tomato colour actually, but I think we'll start with these. Again, sometimes you've got to use your thumb, but you can be quite loose. You don't have to be kind of and just check that it's not got any blue on it, because otherwise it will make everything blue. So these are really, really pale colours, but I'll probably go over them again. Okay, sorry about the thumb, you just cannot use the thumb. And then you can start thinking about two colours to blend together, so you don't have to just do one colour, you can do two colours. I was looking more for a turquoise colour, but I can't really see one. Cornflower blue, that's a nice one. So I've got a cornflower blue. I've got to remember that that's not set. This one's set. All this is set, but that isn't. Oh, I could do this cornflower blue as soon as we... do a pink one. We'll have a bit of a pink colour going on. So again, you know, sometimes you do go over the line right at the end and you think, oh dear me. You just got to, I mean, I'm rushing, you've got to take your time and get comfortable and get all your things around you so that everything's nice and neat. And then I just want to do something with this. It's Van City today. There could be a bark alert. Haven't a clue why anybody's stopping outside my house. Unless I bought any more art supplies in my sleep and not thought about it. Anything's possible. Sorry, it could be a bark alert. I do apologise. I'm actually going to. I'll stop this video because he's going to bark. So thanks for watching. Yeah, he's parked right outside the house, which was not good. Oh, goodness me. Oh, sorry. Thanks for watching.